department updates, so I want to make sure to give us plenty of time to get that going. We do have a guest that's with us from the Tate Depot to kind of give us an update as to what's going on there. So just want to welcome you. Thank you for being here. I'm going to turn it over to Miss Denny and let her introduce.
Yeah, thank you. We have a committee together working on doing something with the Tate Depot. People tell me, well, you moved it, and then what? So we're trying to answer the then what and get it going. And luckily, John Anderson from Big Canoe, who's a friend, stepped up and had a lot of experience and background and has given us a lot of hours, free hours, and we appreciate you. So if you'll just tell everybody a little bit about what we're doing. John Anderson.
Does anybody mind if I pull my mask down? I think I'll be offended. Thank you. First of all, I want to blame my dress code on Becky. You know, I thought that was the standard, and I'm much more comfortable in jeans and boots, so forgive me. And it's a real privilege to be with you. I hope you won't hold it against me, but I'm a twice immigrant. I moved in 1984 from Canada down to California. I became a citizen about 2 months after 9/11, and I'm a very, very, very proud American citizen. As far as I'm concerned, this is the best country in the world, and make no mistake, I could live anywhere. I choose to live here. And in August of 2019, my wife and I arrived here in Pickens County, so that was the second immigration. And my wife just said to me the other day, she still pinches herself about being here. And this is a California born and raised girl. We could not be happier to be here. And in the context of the Tate Depot, when we first drove into Pickens County off of the 575, I always get the freeways confused, we went right past the depot. And we both looked at it and said, that's really cool. A bit of background about me is growing up, my father was arguably the foremost restoration architect in the country of Canada. We lived in Quebec City, and he was responsible for restoring the old town of Quebec City. I don't know if you've ever been there, but I highly recommend it. Go in the fall. Winters are brutal. But every place we would go with Dad, he would point things out to us about the history of the buildings that we were seeing. And there was one particular old farmhouse that was getting very, very run down that we went by quite often. And in about 1972, it was slated for demolition, and it was going to be replaced with a donut shop. Dad told us that it was one of the original, if not the original farmhouses outside the walled city. So it dates from the 1700s. And it was going to be knocked down and replaced with a donut shop. My dad wouldn't allow that to happen, so he actually bought it for $5,000, picked it up, moved it to a site that was made available by the city, and now it is occupied by the Riverkeeper, which is an environmental organization on the St. Charles River in Quebec. If you ever go there, please, it's off the grid a little bit, but go visit it. My point is this, is that historic resources are not appreciated unless they're used and valuable to a community. The Tate Depot, everybody I've spoken with since saying, hey, that's really neat, what's the story, have said, oh, it's great, but it's been moved $3 million, or whatever the number is, and it's doing nothing for our community. So Becky approached me about a year ago and asked me if I would consider helping revitalize the depot. And the general idea is, let's make it a gateway to this beautiful National Historic District. This is a nationally registered historic district, which is very, very important. And in my opinion, it's the least known, but most important in this country. And I'll give you one example why. It's called the Georgia Marble Company and Tate Historic District. It's certified with the National Park Service. And if you know anything about the marble industry, you know that our VA cemeteries, most of those gravestones come from this National Historic District. No, I never knew that. Not many people outside of this room know that. We need to change that. And the starting point is with the depot. It's a gateway. Everybody sees it. Nobody sees the marble mines directly. Everybody sees the Tate House, but that's a standalone, you know? They see the historic school and the gym and the beautiful houses. But the depot is what they see when they first get into Tate. So we have a job to do, and that's make sure it's useful to the community. It is economically viable. We have to make improvements to it. Well, it's got to pay for itself, and it's got to pay for itself over the long term. So we have gotten together a committee with Taters, I love that word, some of the old-time residents of Tate, and a couple of young ladies who are the commercial center, Katie Bell and Jennifer Bramlett. I'm sure many of you know them. Just incredibly dynamic entrepreneurs who want their commercial district to become better and better and better, and serve Pickens County better and better and better. So the depot, which is right across from them, sitting empty, is not a good attractive part of that right now. We need to change that as well. So we've gotten together a committee, and the first thing we need to do is put it into use. So the plan right now is by Jeep Fest this coming fall, we would like to have this available as an event center of some kind. We don't have any money yet, so we're going to have to start from scratch. So porta potties are going to have to be installed to use while we're doing something. And then it's a train depot, so we've found one is a donation that is worth almost $100,000, and it's not a sure thing yet, but a gentleman named Bill Gibson wants to donate his beautiful train set. It's 550 square feet. It's unbelievable. And it's a representation of North Georgia, including Tate. And he would like to donate that and have it displayed and used in the depot. And then there's also a custom-made train that is sitting somewhere in storage around here that was designed to fit in one of the waiting rooms. So those two things, pretty attractive to have people come and gather for events of any kind. And then the third component that we're working on right now, let me back up a minute. The donation from Bill Gibson is worth about $100,000. It's that spectacular and that technically complex. He is willing to make that donation to us. Money, in the grant world, money attracts money. If we can prove that we're doing something that is attracting a $100,000 donation, other people are going to step up. It may not always be that much, maybe $5, $10, $25, but it's a start. The train set that's in storage right now could also be installed. And then in complement to that, what we're working on is I've been in contact with the Boys and Girls Club of North Georgia, one of the incredible resources here in Pickens County, and I didn't realize that it is truly North Georgia. And my understanding is it may be expanding to include Dawson County as well, which would be amazing. But we're thinking about some kind of STEM program where the kids at the Boys and Girls Club can come and learn how to operate these train sets, take care of them, maintain them, which is a pretty darn good way to teach them engineering skills, maintenance skills, all the jobs that we need in this county and beyond. So we're working on that as well. And then the other component is Kennesaw State University. As you may know, they've already have a couple of displays in the jail and the old cabin in downtown Jasper that are exhibits, and they're basically designed to attract K-12 students to come through with their classes and learn about the history of the region. They have one already that's ready to go. Bill Cagle worked with them for many years to get these things in place, and they have another exhibit that's designed for the depot. It's ready to go. We just need to find the funds to put it in. So all of a sudden, if we get these three things in there and up and running by fall of 2021, we're going to be able to have people come visit, and as an event venue, as a gateway to Jeep Fest, can you imagine I mean, I was flabbergasted at the backup on Highway 53 of Jeeps. And those are not cheap Jeeps either. These things are worth tens of thousands of dollars. Can you imagine if the kids that are coming along with these people had a train set to go see and they could learn about the marble industry a little better? I think it's a very great starting point. And then Marble Fest would follow. I've heard that there's a state tourism group that's coming to look at the potential here in Pickens County, which would be great, and we'll make that available to them as well. And then from there, you know, the sky's really the limit as far as I'm concerned, because this historic district has so many attributes. And I'll just give you one other example and then I'll shut up. But I don't know how many of you have been inside the Tate Gym. Tate Gymnasium is a beautiful building. It's by itself. It is also a historic resource listed with the National Park Service. And I went in there and I'd heard rumors that the gym floor was not usable anymore. It had been water damaged, and etc. It's not true. That gym is ready-made to use for basketball games again. The scoreboard's still up there. One of the baskets would need to be put back up, but it's ready to go. As a bit of history, in the early 1950s, the trade school, the black school here in Pickens County, allowed their basketball team played in that Tate Gymnasium, even though it was associated with the white school. Before integration, a black basketball team had games in that gymnasium. If we could tell that story, especially right now in our current political environment, it's a really positive story to tell. And that history permeates Pickens County. When Fulton County had their cleansing, it was called, I believe, or Forsyth? Forsyth, I'm getting one or the other, had the cleansing from the Klan. Those black workers and those black families came here, and they were welcome. It's a great story to tell. If we could get the Atlanta Hawks up here to play a basketball game, can you imagine what would happen? So, anyway, there's lots of stories to tell, but it all starts with the depot. Thank you very much for listening to me. Thank you very much for allowing me to come here today. And if you'd like to be involved or want more information, please let me know. Thanks so much.
Thanks, John. Good job.
And I did flip it just a little bit because I knew we had so many department updates. I probably should have announced this, that I'll let him go first in case his schedule was going to throw him off so that he wouldn't be stuck.
Thanks, everybody.
Thank you. Thank you, thank you. We'll move on to department updates, and let's see who all sitting where, so I'm just going to kind of start at the front and work our way back. So, on the finance department, do you have any updates to go over?
We are currently working on the audit for 2020. The auditors were here last week and did transaction testing for here in our building, and they also did the field work for the elected official offices. They will be here, they will be back the week of April 19th to do field work here for our office. And I know I got a letter from the Department of Audits yesterday by email saying that they are extending the audit deadline again this year for an extra 90 days, so we extended to September 30th. But Amanda, our auditor, says because they're going to be able to work on site this year and not virtual like last year, she said that we should be able to complete the audit and get it filed by June 30th. So that's our goal. We do have that extra time frame if we need it, but I would like to get it done and behind us, and that's about it. There's a lot going on right now.
Were you able to get the closeout for last year done, or are you still waiting on some things pending, or?
No, yes, everything was closed out the last check run that they did in February. That was the last approval back for revenue and for expenditures.
Thank you.
Okay.
Ms. Powell?
Every year, at the beginning of the year, we have to complete the retirement census, and we've got that completed, and they notified me this morning that we're going to be getting statements. We've just got to, review them, and we'll be getting them out. That's for anybody in the defined benefit plan. So we'll be getting those out in the next few weeks. And Kim and I both have been kind of going over the job descriptions, kind of an audit, if you will, trying to make sure that we've got everything, we have a description for every employee, and that's taking a little time working with all the different departments and stuff, and just been pretty busy. The beginning of the year has slowed down just a little bit, but that's about it.
Not long enough to get used to it.
No.
Mr. Anderson hiding back there in the corner.
Yes, sir. Weather's breaking, of course, we're busy about year round, but summertime, springtime really kicks us off, and it's definitely that way right now. We're replacing pipes on Upper Salem, getting ready for the contractors to come pave it, slick pave it, whenever we get ready to do that. Still got our side arms out, mowing right of ways. We are re-upping our subscription on the speed signs for, to check the speeds. We're re-upping our subscription on that before we can get them back out on the road. We got crews trimming and grinding trees around from, winter damage and whatnot. And we've got guys that are cleaning the ditches. We've got, in the works, we got some prices. We're looking at pricing on Cove Road to do some things to help with the speed and stop signs and whatnot out there. That's about all we've got going on right now. Maintaining our equipment, changing oil, getting things ready to go back out.
And I'll fill in a little bit when he's talking about Cove Road. We've gotten a lot of complaints on the intersection there at Cove and McLean, and then that Steve Tate roundabout, they had 2 different accidents within about 3 weeks. One was pretty serious. So trying to look at relocating my sign and possibly adding some rumble strips to slow people down as they approach that roundabout when they're coming through. I first called Kirk about it, and he said, well, there's a bunch of boulders in the middle of the road. If that doesn't stop them, I don't know what's going to. So we're trying to find a way to get them to stop before then. So they're looking at that, and then a different type of a stop sign that has a blinking LED, a red LED light that could go at that intersection to try that out. So they're working on getting that together now. So.
Mr. Dean, the water side?
Since January 1st, we've set 29 meters. Pretty busy for the first 2 months of the year. We finished up Woodstock Church of Jasper yesterday. We installed them a fire line. They ended up having to have a fire sprinklers installed, and they needed it pretty quick, and we got it completed yesterday and supposed to put it online. I'm thinking Shane said first of next week. We got to get with the company out of Chattanooga. We have been working on this project for several months with the city of Jasper, and it's all come together and money has been spent, so we're committed now. But we're going to be replacing 10,700 foot 8-inch line on 136 West. Our aging infrastructure, it's given us headaches over the past 6 or 8 years, so it's time to upgrade that, but it's also going to help sell the city water at Burnt Mountain. So we're putting in a new 6-inch meter down there and a 6-inch PRV up across from the old landfill. And once we get that done, we should be able to push the city about 250 to 300,000 gallons a day. Maybe off a little bit, but that's around about the numbers that we've been pushing around. We're looking about 3 or 4 months to get the completion date on that. Hopefully going to start. We've got a large project meeting next week, so hopefully in a couple of weeks we'll actually get the equipment up there and start putting the pipe in. I've talked to a couple of the customers up there and the citizens, and they're fairly happy that we're doing it because of the past water outages that we've had up there. So that's a big improvement and update on our system right there. I've got an update for the airport lift station. I talked to Lamar at Turnip Seed this morning. He's finally made contact with GFA. They've thrown a couple of dates out, which wouldn't work for USDA and it wouldn't work for him. So he's pushing for next Tuesday for our pre-construction plan. Not 100% sure. He said it could be either Wednesday or Thursday, but USDA won't be on site, but GFA will come out and we'll have it in 149. I'll let you know, Miss Lisa, when we need it, because we may have to do a Zoom with USDA. But once that pre-construction conference is complete, then the contractor can start work on the lift station. So if we complete it next Wednesday, they can start Thursday. Grandview, it's still in the EPD's hands. They've approved the water plant, but now they're having to approve it again. It's their way of, I don't know, I don't understand it, but as soon as they get it approved again for the second time, then we'll start the bid process. So hopefully in the next month or two. So I think that's all I have on my project list right now.
Pretty active project.
It is.
Kenny, how about over at the recycling center?
Okay, well, you know, I started a year ago this month, and then I'd like to thank those involved in bringing here to help y'all out. Since we've started up, you know, we've got the camp road, they've got it, Kirkland's got it cleaned up, and it's all pretty much gone, and we're now to look at the new location. We've been there roughly 4 months, and we're averaging around 14,000, 15,000 bags of trash we're taking each month there. We've got overwhelmed last month. We've got the new compactor that's been put in place. It's actually, we started up this week, so we can actually handle the loads now. So when people bring trash, and they shouldn't be having to wait so long with 3 compactors. We're taking a total of 80 tires, which is kind of low for this month, but, you know, next month of April, we do the big tire answer deal. It'll be 4 free tires per family for the whole month of April. It was a one-time deal. But the mattresses really picked up. I know the President's Day sale, we're looking at 120 this month mattresses. That's more than our average. And then a lot of furniture, we took 80 pieces of furniture. Our metal actually went up to 20,940 pounds we took in metal. We shipped out 2 loads of recycling for a total of 80,000 pounds, which puts us, since we started up in November, right at 400,000 pounds that we've actually recycled and pushed out the door to be recycled. So that's a big plus there. We've actually got on Facebook, and then it's been picked up, I think, by the Progress. We're trying to get people to start more recycling during the week instead of coming at lunchtime on Saturday when everybody in Pickens County decides to show up. So that'll sort of help us with the flow. And then that's about it. We got, like I said, the tire should be next month.
And I know when we get finished with the
Yeah, we've got-
bids, we'll talk about some other stuff, but I think that the mattresses coming in there is great because they're not on the side of the road, they're piled up behind here where we have to try to collect them, so that's a big plus. Mr. Kilgore?
Yes, sir. This last month of February has been a real good month for planning and development. We issued 165 either permits or applications in total. 76 of those were building permits, and 35 of those were actually certificates of occupancy. Closed out the month of February with right at $46,000. This month, the first 3 days of the month, we have already surpassed what we did March of last year, which was a low month for us because of COVID, but we're already close to 10,000 already for the first 4 days of the month. I have Stacy here today with me because she's our business license manager, and we've talked to Phil about a couple different things about streamlining our business license process and do like a prorated per quarter. So if you'd like to hear that, or if y'all would like to wait till general comments, Stacy's here for that. But we're looking forward to another real good month in planning and development. We have 5 cases going next Monday, March 8th.
For a reason.
Yes, sir.
Justin,
Yes,
what is
ma'am.
your, if you can tell me briefly, what is your ideas for streamlining the process of the business license?
We have, it's kind of like a 1 fee, and then it's a small late fee that's applied. Can you elaborate a little bit, Stacy?
Our business license go from July 1st to June 30th. We have a regulatory fee of $100 for new business license and then $100 for renewal. We charge a $10 late fee if it's not paid by, we give them a grace period of about 30 days, so by August, if it's not paid, we charge them that. In the fourth quarter, we have been charging for years just $25, but we got to looking at it and we talked to Phil about it, about possibly in that fourth quarter, tearing it down each month. And in April, charging 75, and in May, charging 50, and then in June, charging the 25. That's only for new business license that come in during that fourth quarter.
Just to make it where they're not paying the full prorated, so.
Yeah, so what we were looking at was, since there's nothing in the ordinance that says that there has to be a specific fee, if it's something that we could change in our office with the approval of the Board of Commissioners, or if we would have to do a resolution to change that.
That's what we, just a resolution to, that way.
So that would be something we'd need to prepare for the meeting to bring up, which we're still in the beginning of the second quarter, so we'd be, or in your calendar, actually, it's in the third.
Yeah,
quarter,
we would just need to know something before April.
Okay.
Something along the lines of that's what I would
Okay. And we can look at that for our upcoming agenda. All right. Anybody in the back, any updates? Payroll normally can be pretty safe, that you don't have a whole lot to update other than making sure that everybody here
The
gets
good news
paid.
is there was just one employee last pay period that we had to do some kind of COVID pay, so, but other
So
than
it's
that, same old.
Way
same
better
old.
than the previous
Yes,
years.
absolutely, it's getting back to normal.
Good. All right, so I'm gonna scoot over, I'm saving y'all toward the end, so, because you'll be the transition to our next meeting, so I'm gonna skip over you. And Sheriff Craig, not as a department, but as an office, I know,
Just a couple of things I'd like to announce today is, I know we've always talking about hiring and trying to hire good folks. We've been able to hire 5 or 6 recently for the jail, for the road, and so we're excited about filling some of those positions. One of the big things we wanted to let everybody know is we finally have been able to move forward with our camera system for the deputies, and we are still tweaking a few things on storage and open records requests as it will pertain to our new body cameras. So starting actually last week, all of our deputies working the road will be wearing body worn cameras in addition to the in-car cameras. And so we're excited about having that as a tool for not only our office but also the citizens. And I think that's going to be a great opportunity for us as we move forward. Once we have all the uniform patrol deputies wearing those body cameras, our next step, hopefully next year, we can start looking at, or the next school year, looking at our SROs, and then eventually having a program inside the jail for those staff while they're dealing with inmates will be wearing the body worn cameras as well. And again, that's to protect us as well as the citizens. Helps tremendously with any type of complaints, and then also with the prosecution of the cases, being able to have that video and see exactly what took place. For the most part, I think it's going to be pretty awesome. The courts, we know with COVID has been shut down for quite some time. Operational has been very minimal. Next week, we will have the grand jury coming back in, and it looks like we've got a full calendar with the grand jury for next week, and then jury trials will be starting up as of right now, April the 19th. So things are starting to open up and move a little, and hopefully we can start moving some of those cases forward. The last thing I want to touch on, and I think y'all are going to get into this, luckily the weather's kind of warmed up a little bit and things are breaking loose. We're able to get our inmate work detail back out and start picking up some trash on the side of the road. 89 bags trash is picked up on a 3-mile stretch on Camp Road, and that's huge, huge issue there. Yesterday we picked up a half a mile on Philadelphia Road and picked up 57 bags on a half-mile stretch. Today we were back out picking up, and we're actually out on Yellow Creek. So and we put some of this on Facebook, and we're starting to get some comments and people letting us know what areas that they think we need to be out on. And I encourage the community. A lot of people, as you know, have been out picking up in front of their house and taking steps on their own. We appreciate that. But if you've got an area that you see that's needs some attention, and I know there's a lot of attention needed, but you can call us at 706-253-8902, or send me an email at bcraig@pickensgasheriff.com, and we'll try to get those roads on the list. And as we continue doing what we're doing, and hopefully working with some others here in the community to address those problems. And other than that, we're good, and I appreciate the opportunity, so.
Thank you for getting out and starting on that. And I know we still got a few more departments, but that feeds into what we were talking about. We're getting ready to launch a campaign for Team Up to clean up, a partnership with Keep Pickens Beautiful, and then with the sheriff's office with their work detail going out, but trying to put a day that we encourage everyone to get out and volunteer to spend a few hours picking up trash. I know a lot of KPBs and groups have adopted roads or miles, and they've not actively used those as much in the last year as what had been done in the past. So we're trying to do what we can to bump that up. I know Nina has designed a logo. Actually, she's got 3 that she's pushing for one, and I'm pushing for another. So we'll eventually just get everybody to vote on which one looks best. So, but when I say team up to clean up, 1, teaming up with the community, but 2, teaming up with the sheriff's office. I also have a meeting later today with probation to start working with community service workers, to start getting to where we've got community service workers that are actively going to be picking up trash, so that we're not 100% relying on one inmate work detail, but that we've got a broad, because it is community-wide. I know it, if you look at the number of roads, I know you've gotten emails that we've forwarded back and forth, and I've gotten emails and phone calls, and probably the most complained about thing there is trash on the side of the road. So I think, have a chance to really kick off. I think April the 10th is the Saturday that we're going to target for pushing, so that we can coincide with the national Keep American Beautiful campaign. We were going to try to do it a little earlier to get ahead of the mowers, but then because KPB was already planning to make a push in April, we figured we would just team up and push at the same time. So I think as you get calls, we'll have a lot going out on social media after today that'll start showing where we're gonna really try to push, and just working out the logistics to keep up with where the trash is coming from. Kenny's done a great job with already having us a dumpster in one location that we can start carrying stuff to, but then we're gonna work with Keep Pickens Beautiful and the ones that do bring it to recycling. If they picked it up on the side of the road, we definitely don't want to charge them for that trash when they bring it over. So we're working out the logistics of that to announce that at the same time. So that's kind of our plan at the moment, is to really just make a big push for a cleanup.
Sounds great.
It's needed. All right, Mr. Fitz back there, I know you've been up in the ceiling a lot.
Oh, yes. Good morning. Property management, we're keeping the lights on and the water flowing for right now. I am in the process of changing out all of the fixtures in this building in 911 to LED panels. Initial cost on the equipment alone was $19,000. However, I have 83 days to get them all done, and Georgia Power will send us a check for $9,000 back under their program. Based on their calculations of our power bill over the course of 10 years, which the panels are supposed to last, 10 years, it's going to be a savings of over $100,000 in power alone just for this building. So short term is to get that done. Long term in the future is to look at all the county buildings. I've already done the senior center and I've done the elections office and gotten them switched over. We've noticed with the senior center approximately, depending on the month, 25 to 30% decrease in power usage, which for that building, $100, a couple $100, but every month over the course of 10 years really adds up. And talking with Faye about moving some stuff around, about getting some additional support while I'm undertaking these projects. Natasha with the animal control was kind enough next week to loan out one of her gentlemen that's going to work with Ronnie. So my schedule next week, I'll be coming in at 2 o'clock in the evening and working until 10 or 11. So that way, a lot of the lights in here, emergency lights, that you have to kill the power to specific cleaning. So it's nothing I can do during the day. But it's okay. I'm used to working at night, so no problem. One of the things I would offer is I know where the train stuff that Ms. Anderson was talking about. Be more than happy to pass my contact information along to Commissioner Denning. I know Bill Gibson, I've seen his trains, that it's immaculate and just unbelievable. So that's an amazing donation, it really is. But I'd be happy to volunteer by certain, any help I can give to that project.
Thank you.
Sure.
So much.
Thank you. Mr. Downs over in the assessor's world.
Well, I want to start out, before I forget it, to thank my poor old employees for putting up with me and the workload that they're having to deal with. They're working real hard to keep up with all the changes that we see here in our county and all the information that's coming in. So I want to give them a lot of credit for that. We're in the season of where people are coming in, all the new people that are here that are in your way when you're trying to get through the intersections around here, coming in to file their homesteads now that they've escaped from the other places and come here. So we're busy with return time on our personal property accounts, business accounts, homesteads, changes in size of properties. There's new lots out there that goes along with new construction. Tremendous situation. One of the things that people love about our office, taxes not usually going to be at the top of the list, but our website, the Q Public website, where people can get on and actually view their information, county information, things like that. We have captured the new aerial photography for 2021, captured it last month. Hopefully within the next couple of months you will actually see that on the website. There's a whole lot of new things out here from the 2018 aerial photography. And one of the cool things about our site, it allows you to look at a 3-year capture, different years. So you can look at historical things, see how much things have changed. So that will be online, and I think people will really enjoy that. And as everybody here has told you, there's just a lot of things going on, and it's not slowing down. So we're all going to work together to do the best we can to keep up with it.
Thank you. Mr. Nicholson.
Right, on the EMA side, we've just completed a FEMA audit on Storm Irma from 2017, so they're happy with that report. We're in the final stages of Zeta, which was last October. It's been submitted. Once it comes back with the project number, ready for our signatures, we'll send it back and maybe you'll have some money by the 1st of June. On special projects, the 2021 LMIG for paving bids will come out in progress on March 18th. And they're to be opened on April the 8th at 2 o'clock. It's 11 roads, a little over 13 miles to be paved.
Thank you, thank you. Mr. Jim Harvey, in the Marshall's world, I know you've been covered up, so.
Yeah. Before I go into the marshalling and everything, I want to personally thank everybody in this room for working with me over the past 12 years. I've really enjoyed working with everybody. I think I've drawn or created a bunch of friendship. I want to personally thank Donnie Craig for hiring me back 12 years ago and giving me the opportunity to work for the county. I left him after about a year, or less than a year, and then I came over to the marshal's office, and everybody over here treated me really well. But I can't tell y'all how much I appreciate every one of y'all's friendship and what y'all worked, how you worked with me and how things have gone. It's gone good. I think everybody in the room knows that I'm retiring on April the 16th. So basically that's why I'm going ahead and taking this opportunity to give everybody a good reach out thank you for putting up with me. But I know I'm not easy to work with. But as far as the marshalling, I've been getting a lot of calls on accumulation, trash, and stuff like that. Most of the people who are dumping the trash, they've got educated to the point that they don't put a whole lot of their identification type materials in it. So it's kind of hard to make any cases on those. But I keep going out and looking through it anyway. But that's about it for the marshal's office.
Thank you for the 12 years. We'll bring that up more as we get further in, but, yeah.
Thank you, you've done a great job, Jim.
Well, thank you.
Thank you.
It's a little bit more than what I expected, but.
All right, so Parks and Recreation, I saved you toward the end because I know we've got the call meeting that we're actually running late for when we get finished. It's gonna kind of be Parks and Recreation specific, so I wanted to let you be the last department update so that it kind of feeds into when we go in.
So we just finished up with baseball, softball, and t-ball registration. Have around 525 kids playing through us this season. Everybody's very excited, especially to get outdoors. We've seen, we're averaging closely what we've done in years past. As y'all know, last year we had to cancel the season right before we kicked it off due to COVID, so I think everybody's ready to come back and play. Opening day is March the 27th at our park. If y'all can come, please. It's usually a pretty big turnout. As far as other projects going on, the community center is turning and burning pretty well. For those who don't know, we're doing the mass vaccinations out of the community center. They've been great partners. We've got them in the back classrooms, and they're moving people through there constantly. So that's a good thing for the community as well. But baseball and t-ball and softball will pretty much keep us busy until the summertime. So.
525, then do we know where that ranks compared to 2 years ago? I know last year was being canceled.
It's about the same.
About the same?
Yeah.
Okay.
Maybe about a couple of teams, maybe two, like probably 40 kids more than we normally do. It ranges between, like this year, we are covered up in T-ballers. 3, 4, and 5, 6 is probably 3/4 or half.
We have 18 with the T-ball team, so about half.
About half of our overall number is just T-ballers. So that's 3, 4, and 5, 6. So that keeps us very busy. And trying to find coaches is also challenging, especially with that many teams. Yeah, the park will be, on March 27th, the park will be full, and we'll start playing games. That'll be our only Saturday game, then we'll transition to weekday games.
So under the general discussion portion, you guys have any items for projects you want to?
I don't think so. Have you heard anything about a roundabout down near the high school?
So I actually heard when we were talking in the meeting, they don't have a project date yet, but DOT sent an email earlier today. It is on their list. They bounced around. Do you remember what year they said?
2024.
2024 is being their project date. They've discussed several other roundabouts. I mean, there's the two that's currently on 136 that they're in the process of, one at LJ Road and one at Bart's Bait and Tackle. So those two are currently in process, and then they discussed the Dragon Drive, and then they're in discussions about the Tate area as well, there at the Tate Four-Way. So that was the one that we had a meeting the other day, kind of asking several questions about. They haven't started the right-of-way discussions yet on the Dragon Drive one to work with the property owners that would be involved. So that may dictate the length of how long it takes.
I got an email from them yesterday, I think, but it only mentioned Dragon Drive. It didn't mention the others.
Yeah, it didn't mention the others. They have one of their reps that was kind of discussing some of the future projects the other day. And so they were kind of going over that, but then they sent the email about specifically Dragon Drive. I'm assuming that's on the top of their list as the first one to move forward.
They're into those roundabouts.
But yeah, they've shown the traffic studies where they reduce the number of accidents, and as annoying as they can be, they've shown that they reduce accidents. So I think the state's been investing quite a bit statewide on that.
Yeah. That's it.
Jerry, you got anything?
No, everything sounds good.
Okay. We will go ahead and wrap up our work session meeting. I know as far as the calendar for the rest of the month, we'll have our normal board meeting coming up in 2 weeks. But then just following that on the 23rd, March 23rd, we'll start to advertise that. We're gonna have a board planning retreat. And when I say retreat, we're gonna retreat to the basement of the building here, in the Pickens room.
Is that open to the public?
It
Somebody
is, it
has
will
to-
advertise it as
Okay.
a meeting, so that if anyone does want to come and participate or be there, they can, but we're gonna work on getting that agenda set up to work through different strategic planning, capital, projects that we need to space out to kind of prioritize those and any SPOS projects and other future things that we need to take a look at, but then also getting different department heads to come in on specific areas there. So we'll get that agenda together between now and after our board meeting, and that way we'll have that ready to announce and get that out. But that'll give us a 9 to 1 is the scheduled time that we're looking at having that. And that's one of the reasons we're doing the Pickens room instead of having it off-site somewhere is if someone does come, we can space that room out a little bit easier than we can most other places. So we will adjourn our work session meeting and move straight into our other, unless you've got something in between the two. I know we're running a couple minutes behind.